Hello, this is Brian Begley from nCloud9. We're here to talk today about Dynamics 365 case management. A little bit about me. I'm Brian Begley. I'm the owner of nCloud9. We're a Dynamics 365 partner. We've been working with small to mid-sized businesses for 15 years. And during that time, we've probably hit every customer service and support scenario that you might expect to see. We're going to talk today about customer service, which if you're currently using sales to manage your sales channel, you also have the ability to add on to your Dynamics 365 application an entire customer service suite. We're going to talk about that today and how to set it up, a little bit about all the components of how it works. And, if you have any questions, we're going to have those questions at the end. We just want to let you know we will be recording this webinar and we'll be sending out the notes at the end to everybody who attends and everybody who signed up. So please let us know if you have any questions. You can put them in the question box. We will look at them at the end of the webinar and go through them and answer them to the best of our abilities. So let's talk about why you would want to manage customer service in Dynamics 365. To me, the most important reason to use Dynamics 365 for customer service would be to continue increasing the value that you get from Dynamics 365 sales. With Dynamics 365 sales, you get the entire view of how your customer selling interactions are occurring. So you can see all the leads you've had with a customer, all the opportunities to sell them. But once you've made that sale, by using customer service in Dynamics 365, you get that further view of your relationship with the customer after the sale. Have they had good service? Has the products they've purchased from you work? Have they had any billing issues? All of that information can be created in CRM as a case, tracked against your accounts record, and you can see, have we done a good job of taking care of our customers? Now we're going to walk through the different parts of the customer service application. There's about 4 or 5 most important components that we're going to talk about. First one is going to be cases. Second is going to be entitlements and service level agreements. Then we're going to go look at the knowledge base in CRM, and knowledge base is a place to store articles about your products and so you can offer support on them. And then finally, talking a little bit about dashboards. Once we've walked through that, we're going to do a day in the life scenario of a customer service person. It should take all of about 15 to 20 minutes to go through all that. So once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the question box. So with that, I'm going to switch over to my other screen here. Okay, and you should be seeing now Dynamics 365 here. And you're gonna have to bear with me because I actually need to log into the right scenario. So I apologize for this. So just bear with me for a moment while I do that. I had been in that scenario, the correct instance, and I appear to have logged out. It's going to take me about 30 seconds here to get in the right one. All right, we're getting into the nCloud9 demo environment, and I'm going to open up the Customer Service Hub. And when I get into the Customer Service Hub, I see several areas that I could work in. It looks very similar to the Sales Management Hub that you've all been using in the past, but it has different areas along the left side navigation. So for example, we see dashboards, but instead of being a sales dashboard, this is a case management dashboard. It shows me my active cases, cases I may have resolved today, any emails or open activities that I have to follow through on. We have accounts, we have contacts, but we also have a few new areas: cases, queues, knowledge articles. So let's walk through each one of those one at a time here. So a case is simply a record where I store information about a customer service request. So a case has a title, it gets an automatic number. We can use a subject tree to say what this case is about. For example, I can say this is a billing issue, or maybe they were calling about information on a product. We can also determine what's the origin of the case. So did this case come from a phone call? Did the client send me an email? Did we maybe get the case from a web form that we have on our website, or perhaps through a Facebook or some other social media? Now, one thing to think about with Dynamics 365 customer service is email origins. There's the ability within Dynamics 365 for you to set up an email address, for example, support@yourcompany.com. And when you set up that email address as your support email, we can configure Dynamics so that any emails that come into Dynamics 365 at that email address are automatically converted to a case. And if the email address that the case came from is recognized, it would then associate that case to the customer that has that email address. So it allows you to give your customers a support email address, have them send those cases to that support address, and it doesn't just sit in a mailbox, it actually creates a customer service record. Another thing you could do is open up or implement Dynamics 365 portals. There's a customer service portal that you can create that if you have more than 10 CRM users, you get a portal license for free. So you could use that to deploy a customer service portal, which would allow you to give your customers a login to a portal to create cases directly in CRM and see historical information about their cases. So they could look at prior cases and give you information and updates on the status of the cases. So that's the Dynamics 365 customer service portal, customer support portal. So we have a case record, just like any other record. It has different fields that we can fill in. You can customize it to fit your specific needs. Next, I'm going to scroll down here to queues. Queues are a way of sorting out your cases if you have a large team of users. So for example, I have 2 cases that came in today or on August 14th that are in a queue called the email support queue. So what that tells me is a customer sent me an email to this support queue to that email address, that support@email address, and this case was automatically created. Now, if you have a customer service team, what could happen is you could give your users, your customer support team, access to a queue, and they'd be able to look at these items. And if they say, oh, issues with chemicals, that's something I want to work on, they could look at the list of cases that are available to them. They can pick that case, and then this case will, at the same time, remove this item from the queue and assign that case to me to work on. So that is a way to give yourself and your team the ability to choose the cases they work on or to assign cases to queues based on the subject that the customer selects. So queues are a really good way to segment your cases based on the people who are on your team who might have the knowledge. You could have different queues for different knowledge levels of your support team. So queues are really great. Knowledge articles are the next section that we're going to look at. Knowledge articles allow you to create a document that discusses what to do based on different scenarios. So let's say your company has a scenario that happens often, for example, a return authorization. I could create a knowledge base article so that when my support team has a case related to return authorizations, they can review this knowledge base article while they're in the case, find out the information about what to do. They could walk the customer through the knowledge base so they could tell the customer, I want you to go to our support portal, click on support, return authorization, fill in this information and click submit. Allows you to make sure that you resolve the case on the first phone call. We'll also show you some more information and more things you can do with knowledge articles when we're walking through a case. So knowledge articles are really great as a way to have pre-built articles that help you give uniform support to all of your customers for common support needs. The last thing I want to talk about is entitlements. and service level agreements. Entitlements have to be set up in advance before if you want to use them. But entitlements allow you to create basically a service contract with your customer. So right now I'm looking at a software entitlement with my customer AdventureWorks. And it says that from June 30th of 2020 to 2/17 of 2021, I am going to offer support to this customer, and it might be about a particular product. And if you look over here on the right side of the screen, you'll see it's based on, we're giving them support on just the ECX product that we sell. If the customer had owned other products that we offered, we could add those to the support contract, or we could create different support contracts for the different products that we have. So when a case comes in, I can find out that AdventureWorks does have a software entitlement, and it does have one specifically on the ECX product. If they call about another more obsolete product that they may not have a software agreement with, we could let them know, and we could figure out what level of support we're going to give the client at that point. You could also, in an entitlement, determine who the contacts are at your client that are allowed to call in with a support contract. So you could add contacts at the customer, and if a call were to come in from anyone else at that client, you would be able to tell them that they have to set the proper person to make the phone call to open up a case. Now, an entitlement has a couple of other items, and I'm going to switch to a different entitlement here to show you. One thing we could do is add what's called an SLA. A SLA is a service level agreement, and this default service level agreement is that when a support call comes in for Alpine Ski House, we'll respond to them within 59 minutes and begin the support process for them. We can set up a support level for when we'll do our first call back, or when we'll do our resolution, when we should have a resolution of the case. What this allows you to do is offer your clients some peace of mind that they will be able to receive support within a timely period, but it will also allow you as the company that has the support agreements, it allows you to be able to track how well you are doing at resolving support calls. Are you resolving your support cases within your service level agreement? Are you not? Workflows and dashboards can be built to let you know how you're doing with support calls. So service level agreements, and we're going to see how that works when we create a case in a couple minutes here. In this particular support case here, we're showing an annual entitlement, and we've said that the entitlement is based on the number of cases. So we've set that the total cases available for this customer within the time frame of a year, 10 cases. Because we've done a case already against this entitlement, there are 9 cases remaining. This allows me to track how many cases my customers are calling in for support. And if they go beyond the bounds of this entitlement, I can prevent them from opening another case or servicing another case until a support agreement might be renegotiated with your client. Okay. So with that, I'm going to just walk through a quick scenario of creating a case for a customer. I'm going to switch to the service area in CRM, and I'm going to go to an account. I'm going to say I got a call just now from Alpine Ski House, and I'm going to look at my information, and I'm going to click on my grid over here and click on cases. So when I look at recent cases on Alpine Ski House, I can look at current cases. It shows we have currently 2 open cases with Alpine Ski House, and we have 2 resolved cases with Alpine Ski House. I'm going to create a new case. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on the 3 dots in this ribbon, click on New Case, and it should open up a quick create form for cases. I'm going to create a case around a late delivery. So I'm going to choose the case title. I'm going to put in a subject. I'm going to say it's a service-related issue related to delivery. The case type is a question. I could add a contact from Alpine Ski House there. So I'm going to just search for a looks like we have a contact Patrick at Alpine Ski House. I can choose what type of incident type this is, what's the origin of the case. In this case, we'll say it came from a phone call, and I can then save and close. Now this creates the case for me. I could have this case automatically assigned to a queue, which would put it into a queue, and then my support team could take the next steps. I'm going to open up the case we just created here. So I'm going to click on the three dots here, and I'm going to edit it. Oh, hang on a second. All right, so go to Cases, select the case, and then click the Edit button. And that opens the case for me. Now, just like a sale of a product to our customer through an opportunity, we do have the ability to create a business process flow ribbon for our case management. In this case, we have three stages: the identify stage, the research stage, and the resolve stage. I can have different requirements for what needs to be completed in order to move to the next stage. So I don't have too many difficult stages here on this business process ribbon. I'm just going to move it all the way over to the resolve stage. So I'm looking at this case. I'm showing right now that based on our service level agreement with Alpine Ski House, we need to have our first response to this customer within 58 minutes. Remember, we had that from the entitlement contract with the customer. So I see some information about the late delivery. I see the topic. I came from a phone call. So I can go on my timeline here and I can create a phone call. And of course, if I have an integrated phone system, by clicking on this, it's going to open up a phone call activity to the customer. But I'm just going to say that I made a phone call to the customer. I'm going to put my notes in there, and I'm going to mark this phone call as closed. So I'm going to mark that phone call as complete. Okay, so my next step is that I want to look at some process around what do we do with a recent case. So I'm going to look for a knowledge base article on delivery issues. I can go over to my subgrid over here on the right side, and on my subgrids over here, I see some information about recent cases for this customer. If I click on the second tab, it'll take me to the knowledge base, and it takes the title of this case, late delivery of products, and it's going to show me what to do, what other knowledge base articles we might have had around the concept of delivery issues. I look at this one, it seems to be rather interesting. I'm going to click on it to open it up, and it opens up in this panel here. And I can see here's some information. So I can, if this worked out that this was really good, I can checkbox it. That helps to say that this is a good article. I can also link this article to the case. By linking knowledge base articles to cases, it helps me as the customer service manager to see which are the most effective knowledge base articles we have there, which ones are being used most by our support team. The next thing I can also do within the knowledge base article is I can actually email this to my customer. I can click on this envelope, and what it will do is it'll open up an email, and it'll put the content of that knowledge base article in the email. And I can just from here click send, and that email article will go out to the customer in an email. It'll be added to the timeline, and I can assume that once I've emailed this knowledge base article out to the customer, I've done my job. I can at this point mark this case as resolved. Now, when I do get the new case resolution box, I have a couple of fields that I can choose from. The resolution type, in this case, I provided information to the customer, so I would choose information provided, and then it asks me what was the resolution. So I would say sent KB article. And I'm going to mark this as save and close. When I do that, the case has now been marked as complete. It's been going to be moved over off of my open case list and my dashboard, and I can move on to the next case. For example, I could just go to my queue, look at the next item, pick it off of there, and start working on it from there. That's fundamentally the case management process in Dynamics 365. I'm going to show you dashboards real quickly. We have a number of dashboards in Dynamics 365 for customer service. The tier 1 dashboard, this would be the dashboard for your support staff to be working from. It shows their active cases, it shows their resolved cases for the day, the emails that they may have to send out to customers, and their open activities. We have other dashboards like a tier 2 dashboard. That's more for management to review information, gives you some information about active cases in a more graphic format. Now, we're actually demoing the next version of Dynamics 365 here. So there are a couple features that are coming to Dynamics 365 that I really like. I'm going to show you one. We have a new area called Analytics and Insights. And when we click on Analytics and Insights, first off, you might notice we have this new tabs along the top. So I can click on the tab and it's going to bring me some Power BI reports. So we're actually able to integrate Power BI reports into Dynamics 365. And it's loading up here. We'll give it a few seconds to load up. It didn't seem to load up this slow last time I ran through this, but here we go. So what this shows me is I can use Power BI now to get really more interactive dashboards where I can start filtering by more criteria. And so right now I'm looking at who are the agents who have the most cases, how long is Brian Begley taking? It looks like I'm taking an average of 211 hours to resolve a case. I probably should look at that and figure out what I'm doing wrong. If you use Microsoft Forms Pro, or as it's now called, Customer Voice, you can use the agent dashboard to track customer satisfaction. So after a case is completed, you can send a customer survey out to the customer, and all the answers get loaded in here. So with that, that's all I was looking to show you today with Dynamics 365 case management. Is there any questions that people have out there for me today? Okay, so we're not seeing any questions come through on the queue. So with that, I say thank you for spending your time with us. We're going to let you know our next webinar is Friday, September 10th, same time, 1 o'clock Central. The topic will be Dynamics 365 best practices. And this will be a list of tips and tricks to make better use of your Dynamics 365, stuff you may not even be aware is available to you. So we look forward to hearing from you. You'll be getting a link in the next few days with a link to that webinar, and we'll see you on September 10th. Thank you. Bye-bye.